Welcome to Just Koryzma, episode 60. I'm your host, Braden Koryzma, and joining me today is Luis Bobadilla.
Thanks, brother. Pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
So Luis is a DJ, and he's a upcoming producer. He makes lots of music, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been doing it for a bit now, so it's been good.
So how long have you been doing it now, producing music?
Producing I've been doing since... Well, I got into... Audio's a weird thing, so I got into audio engineering in 2012.
Okay.
So that's basically like recording, mixing, making the record sound nice.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, a couple of years after that, I kind of got into the whole production thing, so 2014.
2014, okay.
Yeah.
And like, what kind of like inspired you to like get looking into it?
Well, music overall kind of inspired me, right? So
yeah.
DJing is what really got everything going. And then I met a friend of mine who's an artist, and just watching him like write and just the ability he had is what kind of really got me into it, right?
Okay.
I basically went from no knowledge. So basically, I used to think that you go into the booth, record, and it would sound good. That was basically
Makes
my
sense.
understanding.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you just go in there and it fucking sounds great. I'm like, all right. And so I went to a studio session with him around 2011 or something like that, and I kind of started watching the process.
Okay.
And then that's kind of what sparked my mind, and then I kind of started reading, and
it just kind of took off.
Yeah. I kind of just started took off from there, and then in 2012, that's when I made the decision to go to school. And start doing that. So
that's sick.
Yeah, it was good, man.
So then, so I guess you just kind of collecting equipment as you were going through school type thing?
Yeah, progressively collecting equipment and stuff like that. I started just, like most people on the laptop. To be honest with you, man, you can do, I'm sure you know, editing and stuff like that.
So
you can
much.
do a lot of stuff just with the laptop. I feel like a lot of the times we want to justify spending money and just thinking that we need to get the next best thing.
Like we need to have like the top of the line.
And so it's like, you kind of learn to be like, okay, wait, chill. What I have is enough.
Yeah.
But, as you start getting better, you're trying to...
You're upgrading.
You're kind of getting that taste of your sound a little bit more, and it does require, spending some money.
That makes sense.
And it also kind of just makes you more accountable.
Yeah.
At least I justified it that way.
Yeah, I kind of like, whenever I look at buying something, I look at it as like a career investment. So I'm just like, it's worth it, sometimes if it costs a little more, but as long as like it's not going to financially put me in a bad place, then it's like it's worth it.
Yeah, and that's it, right? And sometimes I feel like you gotta take that leap.
Yeah, totally.
Even if you take a little bit of an L, like a bigger L, like I kind of did that with DJing. I learned from some friends, and then I made the decision to take out $5,000 alone and then put it right back into DJing. That was a huge thing.
Yeah.
I didn't go from like a starter, deck to this to that. No, and again, everyone's got their own way. There's no right or wrong.
Totally.
Of course.
Yeah.
But my mindset was like, okay, go big or go home.
Absolutely.
And so that kind of got me out of my comfort zone. And personally, for me, that was kind of the best decision, at least from a DJ's perspective, for my career, to actually be more responsible in making money and actually making it a career.
Yeah, because with doing that, you kind of like threw yourself in the pool, and you're just trying to learn how to swim, really, but and you were able to learn. And
that's exactly it, right? So sometimes I feel like you gotta do that kind of stuff, do what scares you, and just
totally,
just grab your dick and jump.
Literally. So then, when it comes to producing music, what kind of how do you kind of get inspired to create a beat or something? Like, what kind of has made you think, holy shit, like this like percussion might work, or what kind of like makes the creativity go?
Yeah, there's for me, it depends. I get bored of doing the same type of music. I kind of bounce between like 3 or 4 genres.
Okay.
I don't like to stay into one box. And I'm kind of like the same way when I DJ. I like to have that same mindset where I don't just DJ hip hop music or just pop music. I'll do mashups.
Okay,
and so I kind of carried that mindset when it came to creating. It just comes from whatever music. I feel music at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think, at least for me, that's kind of the right way to look at it. It's a feeling that you get. So if I'm hearing something it could be anything, like you said. It could be the certain percussive sound, like, oh shit, that groove or the timing for those drums were really dope. And so I think when you're first starting out, it's good to just maybe emulate, and then you kind of start figuring out your own sound, right? That's how you start saying, and then you can actually start picking up sounds just very fast, right? Just from hearing it. Oh shit, I know that hi-hat. You can get very particular with sounds, right?
Yeah.
So going back to your question, it's just I go by sound and feeling.
Sound and feeling. Okay.
Sound and feeling is what, you know, kind of really motivates me.
Yeah.
Right? Or it could just be random sometimes.
Totally, right? You might just have like a spur of the moment inspiration and be like, shit, I need to act on this.
Yeah.
It's like probably like a stand-up comedian who like thinks of a joke and they're driving and they're like, I gotta pull over and write this down or else I'm gonna fucking forget and then I'm screwed.
And that's it, man. Creativity, I feel like it they all blend, they all complement each other.
Totally.
And that's kind of one thing I've learned with music is, like I told you, I went from knowing nothing, and then I actually taught myself how to play piano at 29.
Oh wow!
Like I spent like
that's awesome.
I spent like six hours a day doing it for like a year, and I still do it every day.
Which is good, because I mean, like I hear piano is like one of the hardest instruments.
Yeah, it definitely strikes your ego, especially when you're older. You know, it's very easy to be doubtful and be like, man, I don't know if I could do this. But the reality is, it's just a mindset when it comes down to it. You just got to be willing to tolerate that emotional pain that comes through with it. But going back to that, it's like I feel like creativity complements each other. Like when I started playing piano, I had no idea,
of course,
that it was gonna actually make me a better DJ. Like my timing, I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
So even if like, you know, so I were to say, for example, start doing stand-up comedy, I'm sure in some way that would help my music, and my music might help out my stand-up comedy.
Totally.
Creativity is creativity.
Yeah, no matter what, like it's gonna spark something. Whether like the nice thing is you could be doing one thing, not even thinking about the other, but then all of a sudden it's just like this thought pops in, or like just like you see something and you're like, wait, it's just like that nice little break that might just like jolt you like a hit song or whatever,
and that's
right?
basically it. Like, do you play any instruments or anything like that?
I played guitar at grade 7 because it was mandatory. And then
you chose a good instrument though, man.
Yeah, and then I played alto saxophone in grade 8 for band for half a year. Mm-hmm. And then like I think ukulele in grade 6. But like other than that, I never had like a drive to learn instrument. The piano would probably be the most fascinating for me, because I feel like if you can play the piano, like that's pretty cool. Like guitars are also very
it's just really hard.
Yeah.
So, you know, kudos for you for actually giving it a try, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get good at that.
Yeah, Dylan plays a lot.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, so okay. Him and Lucas, I've been waiting for them. They've never played together, but I think they should someday.
Force them, man.
Yeah, literally. So, like, aside from piano, have you had to learn any other, have you decided to learn any other instruments?
No, that's basically it. I would love to learn drums.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to honestly learn a lot of instruments.
Totally.
But, you know, I felt like from a production standpoint, at least when you're a laptop producer, that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know how much you know about production, but the keyboard is like, they call it a MIDI keyboard. So essentially, you can play anything on there.
Yeah.
Guitar, bass, whatever, right? So when you're playing piano, you can play anything, drums and stuff like that. So that's kind of why.
Oh, I see. Okay, right? Yeah.
But also for me, like a lot of producers, what they do is there's something called a piano roll. So they draw in their notes.
Okay.
Right. I don't know if I'm not super technical like that. I mean, I do draw in my notes now, but again, going back to feeling music, I have to feel it. Otherwise, I don't feel like I'm connected. So
totally.
So that's kind of why I forced myself to learn to play piano, because I'm like, fuck, I got to learn some instrument.
Yeah.
And from a production standpoint, again, this instrument makes the most sense. So that's kind of the route I took with that. So,
okay. Yeah. So like, how long does it take for you to finish like a song or a beat?
Oh man, it's weird. Music is a really weird thing. It depends on the like how complex the song is.
Okay.
Also where my mind is.
Yeah.
Have I been working a lot throughout the day? You know, those types of things.
Absolutely.
I can finish a song in like 30 minutes.
Right.
I can finish a song in an hour, or sometimes it could take me like 2 days.
Okay.
Or a week.
Yeah.
But it just comes down to, I try and give myself breaks.
Yeah.
While I'm working. I don't know if you've heard like, have you heard of like the palm technique, the Pomodorian, I think that's what it's called.
I haven't, no.
It's basically like some old school technique that they used back in the day where you set a 25-minute timer or a 30-minute timer.
Okay.
And it's just, it basically makes you more conscious of the amount of work that you're putting in.
Okay.
So you're not just grinding the whole time. Because you know how it is. Like if you're editing for like 4 or 5 hours, you could get lost in one thing and that one thing not even really matter so much.
Totally.
So when you set a timer, you snap out of that, right? So it's more focused work.
Makes
so
sense.
when I do that kind of stuff, it kind of helps me zone in more.
Yeah.
And sometimes that will help me actually, if I've been stuck on a song, sometimes I could finish it faster just by setting a timer and being like, okay, you know, what needs to get done here? Am I just in my head too much? Or, you know, are these elements not working? So
that makes sense.
Doing things like little hacks like that are kind of what help me sometimes get through it. But, you know, music is weird, man.
Oh, totally, right?
It is very much like how you're feeling, your emotion, and getting out of your way, I think, is probably one of the most important things. Your ego plays tricks on you.
Yeah, I guess you have to come to realize, you know, like, you're going to make good music, but not every song's going to be like the big hit you want it to be, or... Yeah. I mean, it's just like what I do, you know. Not every episode's gonna be like blow up. Not every vlog's gonna do well. Like
that's it.
And it's just like you just gotta get over yourself and realize that that's okay. Like it's not every, and like because the person who heard that song or watched that video, it's just not for them.
No, and that's the thing. Just because we feel like we might like something, I feel like there's like some sort of expectation. We're like, oh shit, this is the one.
Yeah.
It's like it might not resonate with everyone else.
Totally.
So I feel like when it comes to creating it, the biggest thing I've kind of learned is like the consistency trumps everything else.
Totally.
Like the amount of times that you're actually putting in the work and putting your content out is way more important than trying to perfect it and hold on to it.
Yeah.
Because it does fucking nothing at the end of the day. It really does nothing.
And if anything, your quality is going to get better over time anyways, because you're continually doing it more. You're seeing things, you're learning things, and you're just like, oh, like this, like for me, for example, I'm like, oh, I should have cut like this clip like 2 seconds shorter, or like, you know, I should have done this, right? Like, yeah, like it is what it is.
I don't know why, but I think doing things like that timer, helped me a lot more with being more conscious of my actions and my thought process.
Totally.
That way I don't get stuck in the egotism of perfectionism when it comes to trying to craft something.
Absolutely.
Because one thing I've learned, man, is like you can spend hours crafting and sound designing a thing.
Yeah.
But then to come to terms when you're putting something else together that didn't match well with everything else. And so it's just better to move ahead.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to like perfect
on it too much.
Yeah. And I was actually even telling my friend that the other day because he's a YouTuber and he's got a pretty big following and stuff like that. And he's like, man, I put out this video and I had no idea that it was gonna pop. Like, it got like 80,000 views.
Holy shit!
And it was like his third video that had like a bunch, but he's like, I had no idea that was the one that was gonna like help boost it up more.
Totally.
And then I'm like, man, and it made me realize, I'm like, fuck, it's true. It's like your job as a creator is just to create.
Yeah, like
the public makes the decision for you.
Pretty much, like you don't set yourself to an expectation. Just create what you like. Create your product. Make your content, your quality content, and then if it blows up, it blows up. If it doesn't, on to the next one. Like it's not going to be the end of the world if it doesn't blow up, right?
Yeah, we get way too emotional sometimes and
totally
think that, you know, I don't know why. It's a flaw, but it's also what gives us our drive. You know, the emotions like gives us the purpose to continue to push forward and create and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's also, if you're not catching those certain feelings, they can wear you down, right?
Totally.
And I think the biggest thing is trying to be conscious of that throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because it's like, look, we're having this conversation and we both know these things, but when it comes down to it, we tend to forget because we're in that moment.
Exactly. We're in the mindset of like just grind. We're just want to get, not that we want to get it done, but we just, you know, we want to get be as productive as we can, right?
Productive, and we want to be productive and perfect.
Yeah, literally.
But I feel like sometimes the errors are okay too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm sure, I don't know, when you do certain things, you might have done something by accident. You're like, oh shit, that was actually dope. Like, I'll keep that.
So, yeah, sometimes the audio doesn't matter. Like, the audio is just like, I've had weird times where the audio is just like gets really weird in segments, and I'm like, okay, like now I have to figure out how to fix this. So then I'm just like, okay, so I just figure it out, and then like, yeah, or like sometimes, yeah, you get a like when I'm vlogging, sometimes I'm not even looking at what my camera's doing, and I catch a cool moment or something like, oh shit, like that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's like going back to like, you know, sometimes we just got to get out of our own way.
Yeah.
Because if we're too in control, creativity is like, it's like some of it's control.
Yeah.
At least control in terms of like, okay, I'm gonna make this song, but I'm not gonna hold on to expectations, or I'm gonna make this video and I'm not gonna hold on to expectations, and just kind of being in that moment and seeing what unfolds.
Yeah.
Because if you're just like, okay, I'm gonna play this piano part and it's gonna be exactly like this, these chords are gonna go with this, it's probably not gonna work. Right?
No.
In the same way with if you're doing a video, okay, I'm gonna edit it this way, and this is exactly what's gonna happen, and this is gonna segment this way. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way.
Like sometimes the song you want to use, like in a video, it's just like that does not match what's going on in the video. Doesn't matter how cool the song is, if they don't work well together, it's just gonna not gonna look good.
It's, man, that always makes me laugh when sometimes people put like, it's like, why'd you put that song with that? They
don't blend at all. Like they're just like on opposite sides of the spectrum.
it's funny as hell.
So then, what's your long-term goal for producing?
My long-term goal for producing is just, man, honestly, what I want respect in term, like for the peers that mean a lot to me. So I want to, whatever I can do to get to where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for financial benefit. Obviously, I'm aware that I need that, but I've always done this for the love of it.
For sure.
And that's what's given me the ability to push past my own doubt. But my long-term goals would just, I just want to work with artists that I respect.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm starting to understand that you got to work with, in the beginning, you don't get to have that option to choose.
Totally,
and
yeah.
So I'm starting to now understand that, you know, a lot of that was my own ego. And sometimes we don't think we have an ego. And by the way, for everybody listening, everybody has a fucking ego. So it's
100%.
like, I don't know why people don't say that they don't. We all have an ego.
It's just, it only shows at certain parts.
And it's very sneaky. We don't think we have it, but it'll pop up in very mysterious ways. So, you know, now this year I've done all the learning that I possibly can, and now I'm trying to actually start to work with artists. Some artists, you know, I'm gonna try and choose by messaging them.
For
Other
sure.
artists I'm just gonna work with because, you know, the name of the game now is attention.
Totally, and if they're like, other artists are like, dude, you should be working with Luis. This guy makes the greatest beats, right? And then it's just word of mouth, and then also like, you know, through like social media and stuff, them posting,
and that's it.
Like all that stuff. Like it's just gonna be way more. It'll be better, at least in the beginning when you're wide. You have a wide search,
yeah, and
then you kind of narrow as you get.
Yeah, and that's what it is, right? So I'm now finally accepting that, and sometimes people, you know, sometimes people learn that or they don't. I'm finally glad that I've actually I was honest with myself enough to see that flaw in myself and be like, okay, well, what's going on here? I'm being too picky, and I don't have, just because I think what I do is good doesn't mean that I get to be selective with who I get to choose and who's gonna work with me. It's like, nah, man, just fuck it. Like, work with anybody.
Absolutely.
Gain your popularity, because your work is your work and you're only in control of a certain amount of things. Yeah. And the rest, man, you just leave it in faith, and you just know that whatever you're trying to do is you're doing the best that you possibly can. Yeah. And that's my focus, man. My focus, my goal is that, you know. And all I know is that that's all I can do.
That's awesome.
So that's basically my long-term goal with the production side.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, yeah, it's good, and that's why I like goals, is because the goals give you that just motivation to keep striving.
Yeah,
and
it's important.
And it's super good that you're not just trying to do it for the money, which is like, because honestly, like when you do it for the money, then you're not going to get as far because your quality just won't be there. When you actually do it because you love what you're doing, then you're willing to put the time in to learn, to invest in yourself, and like you're just overall, it's gonna be a much better product of a song, rather than you just being like, yeah, I'm here to make a quick $1 and then get out.
And event, hey man, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes that shit works for certain people, but I feel like in a day and age now where your face has to be in front of your product, you get snuffed out pretty quick.
Totally, yeah.
Right, so
yeah, like if they're not seeing you as an authentic person, most people just go on to the next person.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is kind of nice with the social media. You know, you can actually, you know, your identity gets shown.
Totally, yeah.
Eventually, sometimes people can get away with that shit for a long time. But.
Totally, yeah. But like, yeah, I think if you're authentic and you believe in your product and whatever else is, you know, with you, then I think if anything, you have the best shot.
Yeah.
You just gotta have the right person notice you.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's a build-up of things, man. It's a very complicated thing to move ahead. You know, there's so many moving parts. And another thing that I'm starting to understand is that you really, if I'm trying to get to the next level, you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So I will be starting to look for management probably this year.
That's awesome.
You know, my focus was, I've got about 30-something songs out on YouTube. Just instrumental beats and stuff like that. So basically, what I'm trying to do is just build my portfolio.
Absolutely.
And then send these beats to artists. And then also put it on services like, I don't know if have you heard of Fiverr?
Yeah, I've heard of Fiverr.
Or Sound Better. So I'm gonna start putting up like my mixing services or production on there.
Nice.
And just really trying to focus on that. But yeah, so that's basically the premise of the goal right now.
Yeah,
the goals are come in like different sequences, like micro, macro.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And I think that's another important thing is like you gotta make sure that you're very, very in line with what you're doing. Keeping track is very hard sometimes, man.
Yeah, totally. So then with your music, do you ever consider putting in some vocals? Like, is that why you're sending it off to artists?
That's why I'm sending it off to artists. Basically, like I told you earlier in the conversation, like the reason why I got into music was I was working with somebody. And you know, unfortunately, things don't happen, and you know, everyone goes their own ways and stuff like that. And so we were working for a very long time, and then I just realized, man, I gotta put my own you know, destination in my own hands.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of what I started doing, right? So I do have songs, but I mean, I'm respectfully not gonna put them out because if that person's not ready, then I'm not going to do it as well.
Totally, yeah. You don't want to pressure them at the same time, because then it's just going to, if anything, they'll half-ass it just to get you off their back. And then
yeah, and that's the thing, right? And we all have to put in the work and stuff like that. So, but the good news is about that, man, is like, honestly, I learned so much working with somebody all the time. Because that's a huge thing. Like, there's a difference between a beat maker and a producer.
Yeah.
A beat maker just makes beats, but a producer is kind of like a director.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? You have, when you're in the studio with somebody, you have to, you know, again, going back to like not letting, you have to direct, but also know when to step back, right? Yeah. And so I learned a lot of that being a producer and working with him. And then I also last year worked. There's a studio here. Do you know Rob the Viking? Swollen Members?
I feel like I've heard the name.
Oh, okay. So they're a rap group, and he's got a studio here.
Oh, that's cool.
And so being in there and interning and stuff like that, I learned a lot. You know, watching him and also being a part of the sessions. So those are two different things. Ultimately, you know, a big part of my goal would be to be an actual producer.
Absolutely.
And like finding talent. I think that's a big thing for a lot of beat makers is to actually get their own like little record label, have their own team, you know, find and discover talent. You know, I don't know about you, but what I used to get excited when I was young, when I would find an artist or find a song and tell my friends and be the first person,
one? Yeah.
Right? So you get stoked on that kind of stuff. So as a producer, you kind of, that's the feeling that you get when you find and discover talent, right?
Yeah.
Be like, oh shit, I was one of the first ones to do that.
Absolutely.
Mind you, you can still kind of do that by being a beat producer if you send enough beats to people.
Yeah,
right? You just gotta search.
You just gotta be willing to, like, you know, find everybody.
Yeah, you just gotta put in the work that way.
Totally,
So,
man.
yeah.
So that's super cool. So this is the part of the show called the motivational moment.
Okay.
So, Luis, how would you describe your passion in 5 words or less?
Passion in 5 words or less would be purposeful, driven. I don't even know if driven would be it, man. I don't know. Fuck. That's tough. My passion in 5 words or less would be definitely purposeful, but like I have a will and a desire. So it's like, I don't know. I know it's way more words than that. It's
hey, that's fine, man.
But I just feel like I need to do it.
Absolutely.
It's bigger than me. And that's kind of why I know I need to do it. It's like I'm doing it because, you know, in this society, people put identities on us, and, you know, naturally we're, you know, there's a lot of doubt, you know, with the people around us, or, you know, certain situations. And so the reason why I feel like I need to do it is, you know, you have to have a purpose in life, otherwise you go around lost.
Totally.
And, you know, I'm fortunate and thankful enough that I found my purpose at a young age. And when you know you felt something, you know, there's no, like, at the end of the day, man, I know I'm not going to quit on whatever I do.
Yeah.
And so that's how I know I found it. And so, you know, for people that know me, and, you know, people who will get to know me, I hope that they just see that there's an insane amount of work and will, and that you have to have in order to push through something, and that anybody is capable of doing it. You just have to give yourself the permission to do it. And that's the biggest thing, is that, again, you know, the belief ultimately has to come first.
Totally.
Right? Because if you don't believe that you're gonna do it, then it's not gonna happen. And people don't think that you don't get moments like that. You get moments of disbelief all the time.
Totally.
But your will to still push through it has to be bigger. And so I just want to be another voice of course, many people that, you know, showed to people that it's possible to make things happen, but it's all up here.
Totally,
it's a story. It's a story. We all tell ourselves a story. And so for the people that are around me and the people that are seeing me and stuff like that, I just want them to know that anything is possible if you just put your head down, stay disciplined, and just work.
100%.
You know, and there's no better feeling than you know, sure, you go through a lot of pain and stuff, but man, in life there's always pain.
Yeah, right? Everyone's always, you know, don't get me wrong, some people have worse experience than others, but I mean,
sure.
But yeah, like, you can literally, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, for the most part, there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah.
As long as you're, like, you know, just work hard enough for it.
Well, you see it through, like, you know, like Nelson Mandela, the shit he had to go through. There's a guy called Viktor Frankl. There's a book called Man's Search for Meaning, and basically he writes his book of him being stuck in the concentration camps. Okay. And the will that guy had to push through stuff.
No kidding.
So when you read things like that, man, you start understanding that, you know, your life is a summation of the decisions that you make. And we all have a decision from the moment we wake up.
Every day.
You have a decision to go this way or that way.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to play the pity party and blame everybody and go that way, then that's your choice and nobody else's. But you have a decision to turn that around and go straight.
100%.
And so it's about positioning yourself and in the environment that you create. Right?
Yeah.
If you're in a shitty environment, at least you have your thoughts and you can recreate that environment.
Absolutely.
In a positive way. And it's not easy, of course, you know, but like you said, man, there's people that have way shittier, you know, they're born in shittier like situations than us, and they don't have a choice. At least I get to fucking wake up every day and say, man, I'm working on music. So what do I really have to complain about at the end of the day?
100%.
I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
My problems are like minute compared to most people's.
Yeah, I get it. I'm in the same boat, man.
So it's about just also finding gratitude every day.
Definitely.
Instead of fucking complaining and being like, why isn't this working for me? I've tried this. It's like,
100%.
It's supposed to be easy, man. Life isn't easy.
Exactly. That's cool, man.
That's like 1,000 words, but
I'll figure it out, man. I appreciate you sharing with me. So then going to like DJing, like, so what's your favorite part about DJing? Like, so like, why do you enjoy doing that?
Man, I'm gonna try and make this as short as I can. But basically, I met. I get into long stories. Basically, I met these two guys named Matt and Tommy.
Okay.
And they were from Edmonton. They came down here and they started DJing, and I just saw how good they were.
Okay.
And so when I saw them, I got glued, man. I'd literally go, when I was 19, I used to go to the club and just watch them for like 6 months straight. And I didn't ask them for anything. We just became close friends. And then he's like, my friend Tommy's like, oh, hey, do you want to learn? I'm like, what? Like right now? In the club? He's like, yeah, right now in the club. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I started learning at the club. So I would play early, and I thank that guy so much because, you know, they were both part of a reason why my life got changed a lot, because I found that. And that gave me the ability to kind of like shake my jitters off, because I was from the early beginning, I learned to play in front of people.
Yeah, no kidding. Right. Yeah, like you're just like again, like thrown into the pool, right? Like you're just like thrown into a situation that you like, well, here we go. Like
you make the most of it, man. Right? You either get to be, no, I don't know.
Yeah, if you hum and haw like that, they're gonna be like, okay, well, don't worry about it.
Someone else will, man, because people pay for that type of shit, right? They'll pay for lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I got all these lessons for free. I learned how to, you know, cable management, setting up gigs, doing all these things, because I used to just go around. The trade-off was like, okay, we'll teach you. You just got to help us out with, like, you know, gear, setting up.
Totally.
But, I mean, even that was a skill I learned.
It's useful because, like, so when you're doing your own gigs, you can be like, okay, well, this is how I want it set up. And this is, like, you want cable management this way.
That's a huge thing, too, right? Those little details and stuff like that. So basically, to make the long story longer, that's where I learned how to DJ is those guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what do you kind of find your favorite part about DJing is?
I like just getting the crowd involved, man.
Oh, yeah?
When I know I've got the crowd, there's no better feeling than, like, controlling the room.
Totally.
And controlling the energy of the crowd. And that's again what kind of also just got me into it, is like the control that you have of making people excited and happy, that feeling of, you know, it would just be the same as somebody in a concert playing music for somebody, man. When you give people an escapism like that to just forget about their problems and just dance and stuff like that, it feels good.
And you always got to hit them with that drop that they don't expect, and then everyone's just like thrown away. Like,
what are you talking about? Like those drops that you see that they'll play a bad song after or something like that?
Yeah, like it'll be something like they're playing, like it sounds like it's
I've never
a good
done
drop,
that shit.
And then all of a sudden it's like Party in the USA, Miley Cyrus, and you're like, what?
I should try some shit out like that. That would be funny, because you see it all the time.
Totally do.
Just to fuck with people, then they would get it. Hopefully.
There was one song, I can't remember what it was, but then it was like it built up and then it went into Soulja Boy, and I was just like, wait, why did that work so well? But it sounded like it was just like.
Did it? Like was he trying to make it sound dope?
I don't know.
Oh.
It just was like, I'm just like, why Soulja Boy? But
yeah, sometimes people. I don't know. Sometimes people get into it for the wrong reasons, and but to each their own. I try not to judge anybody for, you know, especially if I hear a bad DJ. I'm not going in there and being like, oh, fuck that, I can do a better job. It's like, man, I don't know at what stage they're doing it.
I was gonna say.
And at least they have the courage to actually go and do it, you know. When people try and give me shit, like I had this one guy come up to me and he's like starting to judge me, and I'm like,
get out of here, man.
I don't have time for your input. Nobody asked for it, and that's the thing. It's like, why am I gonna tell somebody and throw off their night?
Exactly, right?
Because the kid's just trying to have fun, whatever.
Like literally, like, and like, he's in front of the crowd, which is already super brave. Mm-hmm. And for all we know, he's only been doing it for a month.
And that's the thing, right? So my input doesn't mean shit at the end of the day.
Unless he like goes up to you and like as a known DJ, he's like, hey, I would like to know what I did wrong. Or like, can I have some feedback, please? Yeah, like where he's welcoming it and he's not trying to like. Where if you were to go up and talk to him, he'd probably come off as more like he'd probably think that as more rude or something, and just be like angry. Yeah,
and that's the thing. I've personally just kind of over time, because I've been doing it for 11 years now. There's nothing that shocks me.
Yeah,
you know, I've had power generators shut off in front of thousands of people. And then people looking at me, and then me just having to say some shit on the microphone. I've had hard drives crash on me multiple times.
Oh man.
I've had drinks spilt. I've had a gang of shit, and you eventually just start getting numb to it, and you try not to just, you don't try and let those emotions overtake you and just fuck up the night.
Totally.
I try and usually brush things off with humor. That's usually my go-to.
That's it, which is good. It's a good brush, because I mean, like, I'm sure, like, the first few problems, it's just like an overwhelming amount of emotions. You're just like, fuck, like,
yeah, straight up.
Like, everyone's stopping, because, like, it's not like, the music stops, everyone stops and looks at you, like, something's wrong.
And they'll boo your ass and just, you fucking suck. It's like, well, how quick were you to judge?
Yeah, literally.
When, like, you don't know if that was my fault, or like, some shit happened with the computer.
Like, literally, like, that's the crazy thing with electronics, is, like, they could be working perfectly for, like, weeks, months, years, and then all of a sudden one day just, like, craps out, and you're like, wait, what? No.
Yeah, straight up, man. That happened to me like a month ago, 2 months ago. My laptop just started glitching out.
Yeah.
Brand new laptop.
Like,
and people were like, boo. I'm like,
there's literally nothing
relax.
you could have done. Yeah, like,
relax, so sometimes it's out of your control.
Literally, like, dude, trust me, if you were in control, that wouldn't happen, right? Like,
exactly. It's like, you think I'm trying to do this?
Yeah, like, you think I want to see you jumping in the air and then stop and yelling at me? Like, get out of here.
Make an awkward moment more awkward.
And then you obviously, you deal with, like, the classic DJ, like, a million people come up and give you song requests.
Yeah, that's I try to laugh off a lot of those things. And it's funny because a lot of those memes that you see online are true.
Totally.
The generic, oh, don't you have YouTube? Can't you just play it on YouTube?
It's like,
no, that's not how it works. And no, I'm not going to play a dubstep track in between an R&B night. You know that?
Yeah, like, literally, like
they're not paying attention.
Like, if it says on the poster, it says R&B night, expect R&B music.
But then some people are just out of their mind, wasted.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, when you get too drunk,
they're in their own world.
They're on their own
That's
space.
why I just laugh it off. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Totally. Just, like, ignore them. Just be like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. That's cool.
Yeah.
So then, I guess you're gonna continue to DJ and then work on music. That's your goal.
Yeah, that's basically my goal. My DJ is gonna be like my and. I think hopefully what I can do is build up my name enough as a producer. I've thought about going to the electronic route. I like electronic music, but my heart is more in like trap, Afro beats, reggaeton.
Yep.
So I'm trying to more focus on artists. So if I can play just DJing and other people's music, I don't mind doing that kind of stuff. And then eventually I'd love to just get hired for, like, okay, he did this song with this big artist.
For sure.
So we're bringing him to the club for that. And then I like playing all types of music, man.
Well, that's the best part about music.
I don't want to just play my shit.
Of course, right? Like,
that's like, no, music is, very wide span. I like playing a lot of stuff, so.
That's really cool, man.
That's the goal, for sure.
That's definitely, like, worth it, yeah, because, I mean, playing, like, and, like, the best part about making, like, with you making music, and it seems like you just have an appreciation for all types of music, so it's just, like, nothing's out of the realm. Like, if one day you're just like, I want to make a country tune, you'll make a country tune.
I'm joking. I've never tried that. That actually wouldn't be a bad idea.
Because then it's just getting you out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah, I've tried some, like, a lot of different stuff. Like certain pop music I wouldn't normally do, certain electronic music I wouldn't normally do. Not that I don't listen to it, just that I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
But, going back to what I said before in terms of, like, different things creatively complement each other.
Absolutely.
It even goes within the production side. You could learn certain tricks from an electronic music that will help you out in a hip hop song, or a reggaeton song, or whatever. You blend different drums, and that's kind of how you start finding your own sound.
Absolutely, man. So, and
break the barriers, man. You learn the rules, and then you break them.
Exactly, because I mean, like, they're there for, like, that's what music is there for. Because I mean, like, literally, like, we went from rapping to people barely saying the words. And, like, somehow that was a trend. Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, and it's like, okay, like, I never thought we would have that kind of day, but we do, and it's popular, and you never know what the next trend is really going to be. That's the wild thing.
And you gotta find appreciation in that instead of being hateful, because things move forward, And sometimes it takes a little time to understand it.
Totally.
You know, I'm old. I listen to old school hip hop, but now honestly, I listen to more of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Luis, for coming on the
brother.
show.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate
Enjoy.
it. Where can the people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at b.dilla, and then YouTube, which would be just bdilla, and then you can go to my BeatStars page, which is bdilla87.beatstars.com, and then all my music's on there.
Perfect. Okay, I'll make sure there's a link in the description and like some stuff underneath you. You can find me at Just Koryzma on anything. And make sure if you like the other videos, hit that subscribe button. Check out the other stuff. Watch the vlogs and check out more of the podcast. Thanks. See you guys next time.